Hello everyone, welcome back to the Magnificent Mags channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. I'm sure you have after that mammoth away win last night. And happy Mother's Day to any mums watching. I've been out with my mum today. I've took her out for dinner and a drive. We've had a great day. That's why I'm recording it on Sunday evening, because your mum comes first. And I was with the missus last night, and as she said, as you can see now, the smile hasn't left my face because Newcastle United were fantastic. It was only our second league win at Stamford Bridge since 1986. I wasn't born till 87, so that's how rare a win down in West London is. Last time was May 2012, Papa Cissé's 2 wonder goals. And then at the same end, the 4-3 win in the Carabao Cup. I've got to drop that in for all competition. Shola Amiobi's header, the flick on from the corner, and the 4-3 win. But that win last night, yeah, it's our first in almost 14 years. It's our first clean sheet since Wolves away in January in the league. It's only our 4th away win in 15 league games. And it lifts up to 9th place in the table, 2 points above the Mackhams. Mind the gap, Mackhams. Been going on about that all season, but they lost 1-0 at home to Brighton yesterday in their 3rd consecutive home defeat. And now we're only 2 points off Brentford in 7th, the final European spot as it stands, depending on how our clubs do, the English teams do in domestic cups and Europe. 6th place, that's Chelsea, we're only 6 points behind them. And Liverpool conceded a stoppage time equaliser to Spurs today at Anfield to draw 1-1, thanks to Richarlison. So only 7 points behind them in the final Champions League spot. So is Europe back on for the Champions League? It's still a massive shout with only 8 games to go, but there's a slight flicker there, and it's been a good weekend for us. But we fully deserved that win yesterday. Look, Chelsea had the majority of possession. They started off well. Cole Palmer had an effort. Wesley Fofana had an effort. But you know what? Thanks to our defensive resilience, Chelsea were resorted mainly to scruffy headers when they were competing in the air for it, and long-range shots. Our defence was so solid, and their defensive structure, the whole team was fantastic. And we took the lead. Yes, it was against the run of play because Chelsea had all the ball in the first 15 minutes. But it was played from Ramsdale to Chow on the right, played at Tino Livramento, who was only his first league start and only his 2nd game back since injury. And he played the entirety of the game, and he didn't look out of place. Didn't even look like he'd been away. And just like Lewis Hall, who showed Chelsea what they're missing, Livramento also showed Chelsea what they're missing. 2 Chelsea old boys, even though he never made a first team start, I believe, for them. But he inverted into midfield, created an overload. Willock peeled off behind the back of Reece James. Great ball through. And then he squared it unselfishly for Gordon for a tap-in for his 16th of the season. Then Chelsea had further chances. He had Cole Palmer's effort, which was saved by Ramsdale, because his early effort was, I think it skimmed off the outside of his foot, even though I initially thought it was a deflection. But we had chances as well. Jacob Ramsey won possession in Chelsea's 3rd, and then eventually came to Harvey Barnes. He worked it back into the centre for Ramsey because there was more space, more bodies in front of Barnes, because they know he likes to cut in on his right. But Ramsey's shot was deflected. But yeah, we had a bit more of the ball after the initial 15 minutes, and it really put the wind behind our sails, and we had a lot of confidence. We were excellent on the ball. Joe Willock especially, he had a great game. That's a special shout out for Joe Willock, because he isn't mentioned a lot. I might be guilty of that myself, but he had another good game. He's had sort of a renaissance lately, so I've got to give him full praise. I've also got to say as well that Liam Rosenior as well, I'm sorry, but I don't know what he's on about, saying that they should have had a penalty when Cole Palmer went down. I'm sorry, but he initiated contact with our player, so it was never a penalty. And speaking of penalties, at the end of the first half, Malik Chow was held like that. That should have been a stonewall pen to us, but it wasn't given. So yeah, pot kettle black, Liam Rosenior. Yours wasn't a pen, but ours was. There was another bizarre incident in the first half, got to say the way, when Palmer got in the way of an Enzo Fernandez shot and it hit him in the head and he was down on the floor. But we had another effort at the other end. It was a great team move. We kept possession so well, worked it quickly, some one-touch moves, resulted in Willock just being at a difficult angle, but he nearly got it past Sanchez at the near post when we're shooting that way in the first half towards the Matthew Harden stand, and it nearly went in, but Sanchez just got it behind. But you know what? Despite Chelsea having the majority of possession all game, mainly second half, but they had spells in the first half, like I said, the first 15 minutes. But you know what? We were full value for that lead. We were full value and we went in 1-0 up. But the big question mark is, because we've dropped 19 points from winning positions this season, could Newcastle United go against the narrative of this season and actually hold on to the win? Because you know what it's like when we go to Stamford Bridge, usually we'll either take the lead or we'll equalise after they go ahead, but then Chelsea just find another gear and pull away. But we had an advantage on them. Our schedule had been Tuesday against Barca, yesterday, and then Wednesday. So there's that gap of 3 days in between the Chelsea game and the 2 legs against Barca, whereas Chelsea were playing Wednesday against PSG, Saturday, and then Tuesday, and they did look a bit tired, so I had to take advantage of that, especially second half, because I felt we were the team who had the legs. But going into the second half, Chelsea had their opportunities, as you'd expect. Liam Delap, the Winchester-born lad, who we were linked with last summer before he chose Stamford Bridge, and we're linked with again this summer, he had plenty of opportunities. Ramsdale had to save well from him. He had a header that went just wide when he was in like an aerial battle. And also Malik Chow got in a massive challenge on him to stop him putting in a dangerous cross. And then he fired an effort over the bar after Cucurella got in well from Reece James's cross to get in front of our defender and managed to play it back to Delap, but then he fired it over the bar, fortunately. Chalobah also had a header that he sent wide, and then Reece James's effort, that was the one I was worried about the most, because Reece James has been a thorn on our side in recent games, hasn't he? Especially at St James's Park in recent times at Stamford Bridge. He had the free kick at the end and it got a lot of swerve, mate. It was a good effort. It swerved inwards and just outside of the post. But yeah, you know what? We had a chance at the other end too. Joe Willock, who is having a sort of a renaissance, he showed great strength to hold it up. Bring it down on his chest and playing Gordon. Yeah, well, it was one of a few opportunities in that half. Sanchez saved well. But you know what? Newcastle United held on, and at the time we were 6 points behind the top 5. Obviously, it's 7 after Liverpool's draw today, but we're full value for the win, as I said. Chelsea were reduced to pot shots from distance, and Ramsdale dealt with them well. And then any other opportunity they had was like balls into the box. They've done plenty of crosses, but you know what? I've got to praise the lads. Every one of them. Defensive structure was sound. Even when we went to a back 5 late on, Dan Burn came on, and Colossus won every aerial ball. But going through some standout players, Tino Livramento, as I said, he'd just come back, inverting into midfield to create an overload to set up Willock for the assist. That was great from Tino. He looked composed playing the full game. Lewis Hall, again, outstanding his technical quality, the way he carries the ball forward. He pocketed the winger. I know Chelsea were missing Pedro Neto, who's good for them because of his disciplinary charge the other day. But yeah, Lewis Hall was outstanding again. He's looking so much more mature as well defensively. Fantastic player. I can't believe Chelsea let him go after maybe, a dozen appearances. Tino had none. Why? It's crazy how much it developed. Malik Chow and Sven Botman, absolute units at the back. Malik Chow especially, he's covering his pace. The way he reads the game, he looks like he's back to his best after a few recent errors. He was outstanding at the back, especially that challenge, like I said, in the second half on Delap when a dangerous cross was coming in. They had an overload in the box with players. We looked outnumbered. And going into midfield, like I said, Joe Willock's had a renaissance. He was so strong on the ball. His energy, he really carries you up the pitch. But you know what? He more so yesterday, a bit like Harvey Barnes. Those two players were much better defensively. Their tracking back was excellent. Joe Willock won the ball so much and got in some great challenges. Jacob Ramsey as well. He's so good on the ball. He always finds those pockets of space. He's looking such value for money now. Another consistently good performance. Receives the ball. I don't think he wasted a pass, and he was strong under pressure. You know, where Bruno was press resistant, that's what it felt like. Got to say, Voltemada, his work rate was good and he was winning some challenges. But again, I don't know what he is at the moment. I said against Villa and Spurs away, he looked good in that midfield role. But then it's sort of like he's drifted out of it. I know he's not playing games and House kind of took him out the firing line. He's had illness recently, but I don't know what his position is. But again, we've got to work on him in pre-season. Look, the international break's coming up after the derby next week. And I know we'll be away with Germany, but we're not in the FA Cup, so we've got an extra week till Palace, so maybe training ground time to work on something with him. But he's a bit of an anomaly at the moment. So I don't know. But Jacob Ramsey, I've got to say again, though, he was outstanding in the absence of Tonali, who was out through illness. Jacob Murphy started. He was made captain. I just felt he was tidy. He helped link up play so well. He was efficient with the ball on the right, and his work rate was outstanding again yesterday. All the team grafted, ran themselves into the ground. But my man of the match, look, I know it's a tough one because I think Ramsdale played well. Nick Pope has been making more errors than points he's been winning with, because he used to save with points, now he's been costing with. Since Ramsdale's come in though, he commands his box, commands the defence and his other teammates. He's tidy and composed on the ball, and he's kept a clean sheet. So you know what, Ramsdale keeps the jersey. But I still feel we need a top keeper in the summer. I don't know what's happening to me hair there. We still need a top keeper in the summer. As my mate Si said, it's like we've got the snake's body, but we're missing a head because Wiss has been awful. And then we haven't got a top goalkeeper. But I don't want to knock Ramsdale. He's been good recently. But Gordon was my man of the match. And I know it's difficult to choose from. I posted on my channels today, who's your man of the match? And I said, is it between Gordon, Hall, Chow or Ramsey? I personally chose Gordon, but again, it's subjective. I just felt as well as Gordon's goal, his work rate was phenomenal. He was chasing, he was all lost causes, he was going for aerial balls, he wasn't giving Sanchez a moment to breathe. And his work rate as well, there was one effort that Chelsea tried to go for in the first half. It was like on the left side of the 18-yard box, and Gordon got in, got a massive block in. Gordon was outstanding. That's the Gordon we want. 16 goals now this season. I don't care how many of them were pens. But that's Gordon at his best, and I can understand why he starts. I know it's damning on Voltemada and Visser that we've got a left winger starting as striker, but he offers what we're missing with Isak, which was goals, but we've still got that running, that aggressiveness, that energy, that front-footedness in the face, winning the ball with a high line, high pressing. So that's why Gordon's in there, and he justified it yesterday with a goal, because we did miss him against Barcelona. And it's good that he came out in his interview and hit back at all the crap in the press, where they said, you said you don't want to start, but it was Eddie Howe's decision. So it's good to hear that addressed this weekend by Gordon himself and Eddie Howe. But yeah, it sets you up nicely for Wednesday night at Camp Nou. I wish I was going, but this has been such an expensive month. Even without a ticket, I wouldn't have got a ticket, but I just wish I was going. It's going to be excellent out there. But be watching it with my mates here. I can't wait for it, and it just sets you up nicely. And you know what? Gives you that little bit of hope. It gives you that confidence that we played well against Barca. And yes, it's a tough ground. I don't think they've lost there since Camp Nou reopened the development. It's great that so many fans are going over there. But you know what? It's a massive opportunity now. Sets up nicely. We've got that result. Should have beat Barca here. Give them the fright of the life. We've beat Man U in the league, and now we've beat Chelsea. It really, really puts you in a good place out of Wednesday. And I've got confidence we could get to the quarterfinals for the first time. Look, if we do, that would be massive. But then Atletico Madrid, let's face it, are going to knock Spurs out. They've been excellent at a Simeone, but yeah, I'll preview that game at the start of next week, maybe Tuesday. But yeah, what a win that was yesterday. That's a huge win at a ground where we've been abysmal at. It's a dreadful record there. I predicted a loss pre-match, and that's just me being pragmatic, because we recorded Stamford Bridge, as I said, it's dreadful, it's abysmal. But that righted a lot of wrongs yesterday, and it's good. I know it's only our fourth win in 15. It's less than 25%. But it keeps you in European contention. It doesn't mean that our league campaign's just going to fizzle out. It means, despite what might happen in the new camp this week, we've still got something to play for in the league. We're only 2 points off Brentford in the Europa Conference spot, 6 points off Chelsea in Europa League, and we're only 7 points off Liverpool in that last Champions League spot. So it's not over yet, but I feel we might need to win all the games going to the end of the season. And yes, Bournemouth's in there, who we normally struggle against under Howe. Arsenal, they look like they're going to win the title after City drew West Ham last night. Our record at the Emirates is dreadful as well, despite the League Cup win there last season. But you know what? If Arsenal have wrapped up the league by then, they might have eased off, so you never know. We've got West Ham up here to come. We've got Brighton, who normally a tricky team for us. So yeah, it's a strange one to read, but Forest and Fulham, we normally play well against them. They're still in there. So yeah, there's still a lot to play for in the league. I thought it would be over, but Newcastle United shoved a lot of critics' opinions down their throats last night. Mine's always constructive, but they shoved it down mine. But I'm delighted. I'm sure you all are too. So that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. Please do put your thoughts in the comments and anything I discussed today. Do you agree with my man of the match and Anthony Gordon? What do you think that'll do for our league campaign? Is that the shot in the arm we need? And what do you think going to Barcelona this week? Do you think we can get through to the quarterfinals, whether that's in extra time in pens or knocking them out in normal time? We never know what will happen with Newcastle United. But please do like, share and subscribe and hit that notification bell to be informed when the latest videos have been uploaded to the channel. And please remember, when you're not in full screen mode, to swipe right on the comments and hit that hype button to really help the channel out. But that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and I will see you on the next one. Good night.